of them are so kind. It's been phenomenal.
Where did you find the ice sculptures? You said there were ice sculptures.
Okay, so my wife saw the ice sculpture. I haven't seen them personally in real life yet. I wanted to do it today. Apparently they're outside somewhere, and I saw photos of Lifeline, I saw photos of Valkyrie, and I believe Octane, but they looked great. And it was cute lighting and everything as well.
Okay. Because I was actually walking through the Sapporo downtown area yesterday, and I saw some ice sculptures that they were making there, but none Apex related. So I'm glad that we've got some Apex related ones to be brought out here, just so that everybody can enjoy. Also, I saw the line to get in this morning. Did you see that?
I saw it. It was the longest line. This is the first time I've seen this many people at one spot in my entire life, but that line, I'm not gonna lie, I would have gone home. I cannot stand there for that line. It was hella cold as well. No, it was, you know, everybody's happy to be here. I hope everybody got in one piece, that they got their snacks, that they got their drinks, that they're ready, you know, for us to hop back into the game, because I really want to get as fast as I can as well in.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it, I think everyone got in okay, because I don't think we could fit a single soul more into some of these seats. There are so many people, and it's been wonderful hearing, especially when we have like Enter Force 36 finding their 8th third party in a row. The energy that the crowd is still able to give as they celebrate the teams that are able to perform here in Japan.
Yeah, I mean, the energy today is different from the other days. There was nothing wrong with the other days in Sadie. It was more late game oriented.
Yeah.
But now the energy has been from second, like the game starts, the energy is already there. Every single fight, you know, on edge, the energy is there. And seeing those clutch moments, woo! It's something else. You just gotta be here to experience it. But I hope, you know, even at home, people get to experience somewhat of what we're doing.
We've got a look at some of our team's positionings, since we were talking about that earlier, so it seems like Graceful will have the chance to discuss a little bit more of what's going on inside this game. Because it is, like I said, a game that on World's Edge does have a lot of familiarity. Should also mean that a lot of our teams are pretty set on how this game is going to play out. You already know World's Edge, you've seen it all before, and so at this point, I'm anticipating that we continue pulling over towards Monument. This doesn't seem like it's going to go over towards Epicenter, although there is the outside shot that we move towards this sort of Shopify Rebellion area. Maybe not that far, but in that direction out of Monument.
Yeah, I could even, you know, there's plenty of zones in that upper area, but the biggest thing that I, you know, could see right there was that a lot of the teams are mirroring each other's macros, and that's important. And I think, are we also seeing it? It's about to happen now. I think the games have started. I pressed my start button, chat. I pressed it. That's why we're back. We back now.
Oh no,
let's get it.
Team Liquid!
Immediately into a fight. Fnatic coming versus Liquid, like we said, they're on the same macro. Huge slam comes down, nades comes down, huge rest from Newcastle ends up getting down by Fnatic. Is showing signs of life, Theo.
Now coming back to strike at Team Liquid, who took him down to 4. Team Liquid will be out in 20th to Fnatic.
Hey, out in 20th or not, go next, lurking. Like I said, everybody's on the same pace, and now Fnatic got caught in the back, not really aware enough or reset it fast enough. Now they're running away to make sure that at least one of them gets out to hopefully get the reset.
One of the unfortunate things for Fnatic is that they are not alone, not just because Go Next are running at them, but because you've got Aurora, who are rotating down from the north as well. So I like that Meltstar is playing quiet, hoping to avoid attention, as we do still have plenty of teams on the hunt. Now it looks like Virtus Pro, starting off a fight of their own, are going to be sat in Monument, making their way through. It seems all right for Virtus Pro, but I'm surprised that Fnatic are getting to walk back for this. Oh no.
Yeah, they tried walking back for this, but now Falcons is also joining the fray. They're saying, hey, loot boxes, let's go get that. Interrupted the pace a little bit of the Fnatic members still stuck in Overlook. I think they split it up just to say, hey, hopefully one of us gets a chance to reset, but it's going to be a tough one.
Puriel Hal experiencing Neuron activation as a few shots actually got thrown towards Falcons, and it was Go Next finishing off Yuka F from Fnatic. Green Stego and Virtus Pro gonna go down. We saw that fight happening a little bit earlier over in Monument, so that'll be the end of that, and a little bit more on top of all of it.
Yeah, I mean, we also still see in the center of the zone right now, there's plenty of teams playing there. We saw some opted out from playing early on, I would like to believe because of the different stages in the tournament where people are saying, hey, early game didn't work now that we're more familiar with this lobby, early game might work again. But we still also see that shift, like I said before, towards mid-game speed, where they want to wait until Circle 1 fully closes, grab the next ring console, and then they make their way in. Because nobody, and I say nobody, likes all-inning one specific building. The zone pulls us off of them, and now, you know, you're getting gate kept by everyone.
Meltstera got found out. That is a survey beacon special, and unfortunately running right out into Falcons as well, who were waiting for whatever was going on in Overlook. I think they saw the survey beacon being hit as well. Meltstera's secret agent Meltstera?
Nobody was looking at him because I guess they heard shots from the zone and they were looking that way. I'm happy though that he got out. You know, it's a little bit scary, but hey, he got lucky. Nice.
Using the invis as well. That's a good time to take a pause, honestly. I'm sure it had nothing to do with what we just saw, but that's a good time to take a pause. Go Next, getting really aggressive using the survey beacon as well.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I think now that they're, you know, they made sure that I think they caught off the other player, right? They caught up to the other player. Yes.
Yeah, they got Yuka.
They got Yuka. They were like, for sure, he's still here because we didn't see him. Like, so they were still looking for him, managed to find him, and hey, that's just how it go. I see here.
That's the look of a man.
Go Next. They are locked in, and they're just saying, how did we miss him? Why are we pausing? Next time we go in, we are chasing them down. Yeah. That's their thought process right there. The sign, looking very comfortable while being uncomfortable.
Yes, indeed. I couldn't have said it better. Let me shake your hand for that one. That was a gentleman's reference. I don't think they're selling the flags here. I remember when they sold the flags.
Yes, they were great.
That was very nice. Now Go Next. We're chasing down Fnatic like we talked about earlier. Falcons actually just sat in that whole area, but that's all the way off to the east of the ring. Looking over at the western side, we haven't seen too much of it. I want to remind everybody that that's where Alliance is going to be coming from. Moving out of Skyhook, Alliance are absolutely a team that we're going to be watching for throughout this game, and 100 Thieves are starting to move out of Countdown as well.
Yeah, I mean, we talked a lot about the east side of the map. We talked about North earlier because both teams playing up North are just playing really, really, really slow. So, you know, that's just going to be like that for another 2 more zones. West side of the map, like we said, 100 Thieves and knock them on the same side of things. Will they meet each other on their macro? But south side on the things, Enter Force 36 and Fury are kind of slipping apart now, but they're still coming in from the same side. Where will they rendezvous? Because at the center of the map, there's like 10 teams just sitting there in the buildings. At some point, you're going to have to fight on the edge. And at that point, who will 3P who is the real question, because we've seen so many 3Ps, and I'm all here for it because it's so much fun.
You know, Fury is a weird team to talk about, not just because I predicted them and I've been tracking them all day, but because they're moving out of the south side of the map, and it looks like we'll get the chance to check in with them as well as everyone else as the match does come back to us. So,
yes,
back here in match number 5.
Back in
Everyone's back. Meltstera still alive, guys, still alive.
Still alive indeed, running with his Mirage trophy in hand. I still hope we, at some point in a LAN, get to see the pork chop come out you know, on the melee. That would be really cool. Meltstera hopefully looking to reset somewhere on the southern side of the zone. Perhaps Geyser, we'll have to see, as he's rotating towards it right now. Hopefully Fury and Enter Force 36 might pull into a fight here. Hopefully none of them rotate towards the east side to where Fnatic can reset in peace, because after that hard work of running straight into Overlook, hiding for another how long in Overlook, and then getting out, it would be very sad if you get caught one more time.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to make it. Finding a respawn beacon, maybe not going to be the most difficult thing since you do get a Moby, but a place to put it and a time to do it could be evasive even for the Fnatic roster, as out of Geyser is not exactly the optimal place. Now Alliance have made their emergence from Skyhook, playing outside this cave right now, and it looks like Go Next are starting to take some fights as well, long range as they may be.
Look at this weapon, Casey indeed. This select charge fire is crazy because you shoot at the speed of essentially a wingman, but the craziest part is you have nowhere near to fall off as a wingman, and the headshot damage is absolutely crazy. Knock them, got caught in the choke because there was too much noise. Alliance feeling very comfortable because they have 1 red and double purple already.
Shopify Rebellion super close to all of this, but they don't have the sustain to actually stay up on this high ground without cover of rocks. Koifel has gone down already. Zainu's missing shields and still has 8 seconds left on the bubble. Good to see a castle wall go down for a little bit of protection. Shopify Rebellion pretty safe from being pushed, and I'm glad they've stemmed the bleeding of meds.
Yeah, and now we're seeing that most teams are rotating towards the center of the zone. People are gonna be meeting each other a lot more because on this map, the choke tends to be the gathering points, and indeed it is for 100 Thieves and Shopify, it seems. However, Alliance, I'm pretty sure their evac got shot down. Is that what happened? I don't know. They're just
Yeah, they got another one.
They got another one.
Time to go again. It is not a bad spot for Alliance to rotate through, though. They don't have a lot of crowding towards this north side of the zone, and if they want to play edge, I'd say starting to move towards epicenter and sort of clearing that area out could be nice. Actually playing up on this high ground, I think, would be a bit odd for the end game, especially given that so little of it is actually encompassed by the next zone, so you're not going to be getting a huge power position by playing this height.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on which side the zone pulls towards. I think Alliance, however, has good rotates in towards Monument if they have to. But there's a lot of playable areas out there. You can call it the parking lot. There's like a few ditches, there's a few walls. Like you have several options. I think that could work out. However, inside of Monument, everything seems to be taken almost. A couple of buildings are clear. People probably still haven't noticed that. Fnatic right here with the zone managed to get the reset. However, still triple blue. Hopefully they can grab some objective points on their way in to level up to purple, because getting in on triple blue when people are already looking at red is a little bit scary.
They've got Mirage. There's an assault crate, so, you know, could happen, could happen. I'm actually anticipating that it will happen. Aurora, wait for something else, did actually choose to play the center of Epi. Not a whole lot of damage, not a whole lot of kills. I think that's the unfortunate reality when you're playing at a survey camp and it pulls basically right next to you. Even for Aurora, who I'm sure would like to get antsy. This is a nice pickup for TSM. Mythic crate.
Oh, the armor level up and also the juice. What did he get? Triple take, Havoc. I mean, Havoc hasn't been too popular, but he brings it up. Double gold scout and also the armor level up. That, my friend, is a juicy box.
Oh yeah, the armor level up especially gonna help out. Havoc I felt pretty good about. I know it's just tough because so often in the end game it's Sheila or Shotgun, and Havoc doesn't just doesn't really have space there.
It's a little bit tough because a lot of the times people opt for their primary weapon. They tend to opt for Scout or they tend to opt for Nemesis, whereas Havoc, it kind of falls into that range as well. And also in Bubble Fuzz, like I said, Shotgun is way prevalent. I think you can definitely still get use out of Havoc. It's just a lot of people haven't been picking it up as of lately. But, you know, we saw that happen. That's nice. Hopefully we can see some action from it.
Probably will. I mean, Aurora and TSM are almost surely going to clash, as Aurora has to leave through Epicenter very soon. E36, not really going to have to move nearly as much, although they are on the edge of this zone. I don't mind their position, and are already in a really good spot in the lobby overall. I do, however, wonder what they're thinking, how they're going to approach this. So let's jump into a listen-in with Enterforce 36.
아래 지하 가도 돼.
여기 노란 핑도 비어 있었어.
지하 가가지고 지하에서 밟고 가면 돼.
1층 여기 비었다. 아니 뭐야 인이다.
야 방금 여기 박물관 계단 쪽에 한 팀 있었다.
아,
지하로 와볼래?
그렇죠.
지하 와봐. 지하 와봐.
여기 빨핑도 비어 있을 것 같아.
그 작은 공사장애들한테 느꼈다.
홀드 가져가자.
쓰란번.
우리 뒷각 없어.
여기서 조용히 그냥 가만히 있을래? 가만히?
내 쪽 한칸 위에 올라와 있는 게 나을 것 같긴 하다.
오케이.
발공탄 내려가서 하자.
여기서 가만히 있자.
발공탄 때는 내려가고 위에 홀드하자. 어디 비어 있었지? 여기도 한 팀 쏘고 있고.
플랫폼 비었었고. 진원지도 한팀 쏘고 있었어.
플랫폼 찼을 것 같아. 플랫폼 찰 것 같아.
진원지 비어 있었다고?
진원지 있었어.
있었어. 진원지 두 팀인가 그랬어. 언덕에. 언덕 아래라고.
우리 바로 한 칸 앞에 비었지. 없었던 것 같은데?
아 여기 있어.
아 거기 있어?
얘네한테 듣겠어. 크레인 살렸다. 크레인.
확인해야 돼. 도박일 것 같긴 한데 너무. 이런데 사이드라도 비벼봐야 되나 이런데? 아 근데 플랫폼 애들한테 각 개박살인데?
일단
Enterforce 36, pretty calm comms overall. Shopify Rebellion, unfortunately, likely not in the same spot as they were just taken down. It'll be a tough blow for Shopify Rebellion. But Enter Force 36, sitting on the low ground of Monument, still have a long, difficult journey ahead. Fnatic have made their way out and are moving into Monument as well. Perhaps those two teams choosing to mirror each other a little bit later on, as 100 Thieves and Aurora, really notably, both these teams on the north end of the zone and in a really good spot to punish.
Yeah, the zone pull towards the northern side where Aurora is right now setting up. They're in a great spot to actually close this game out if they don't get contested for the northern side. However, TSM is right next door and they're going to end up having needing to coexist on that mountain. There's plenty of place, area to place and just share among each other. However, now the fighting zone is deep in Monument, and it looks like Fnatic is about to take on Gaming Gladiators, I believe.
Yeah, Gaming Gladiators has been a pretty high-performing team. Light, one of our top 5 in terms of player performances during the winners round 1. But I'm not seeing that happening now, as Fnatic did manage to move away, choosing not to engage with GG. Still gonna have to engage with something, as they are awkwardly outside of the next zone, but they're already pinging a spot that looks like it could be safe. Where Exo Clan unfortunately will not make it. It is C9 to take out Swinny.
Yeah, Exo goes out and Fnatic needs to rotate in with the zone. Ends up to see if they're gonna fight for low ground, because there's areas to play low ground that's still in the zone, or if they're gonna end up fighting for a building or creeping a building. It's gonna be a little bit hard because everybody is looking to either gatekeep or just hold their power spot.
Enter Force 36 have just landed right next door to 100 Thieves, in fact right underneath 100 Thieves, and TSM are walking up on Aurora, so we're challenging for power positions. TSM open things up with a big Sky Nade. But outside of that, I'm not seeing them get too aggressive. They're choosing to just play this side of the balloon, not wanting to get overly involved with Aurora right now. Crazy Raccoon gonna leave us at 14th position. So TSM and Aurora own the high ground, and everybody else is battling things out for a spot in Monument.
This building in the southern end has 4 teams playing right next to each other, with 4 more teams in front of them, as well as 2 teams on the western side. This is gonna be an absolute battlefield when this zone closes in about 58 seconds. But will we catch some action in this building? Because now you're getting to the point where, hey guys, there's too many teams, we need to force them into each other.
Alliance gonna start peeking out, not finding any purchase just yet, although we are seeing Go Next lose members. Unlucky gets involved through the window with the Mastiff, and it'll be Go Next that do fall. Partially to Alliance, partially to Fnatic on the outside, but that is one team that we are down as we move ever closer to a victor here in our second game on World's Edge.
Yeah, 1 team out, 3 more remains to go in this same exact building. All these teams have to move up, and I believe if Aurora and TSM doesn't end up fighting, it's gonna be so many kill points for them.
Fnatic actually dancing with effect right now, getting even more aggressive. They are going to lose 1. Leica's down. Melstera healing up in the meanwhile. Invisible on the Mirage is going to get some clones out there, but still go down to Alliance. They stepped a little too close. Guild come in for the third party, and we'll be saying goodbye to yet another team as Alliance will fall as well. Guild, nicely timed cleanup on that. With the proximity of all these squads, they're going to immediately head back up north. And over here in the east, Enter Force 36 are fighting 100 Thieves to the high ground. They've lost 1. Synap is down. Playing anchor for the team is going to be full thirsted, and 100 Thieves still on the high ground. Enter Force 36 in big trouble on the low.
Enter Force 36 loses 1 of their members, and on the opposite side of the bridge, they're fighting right now as well. Guild takes down C9 as well. The craziest part is Gaming Gladiators actually rotated in front of them through that same house from the southern side, about to take a fight. Now they're gatekeeping them, but it comes down to a straight shotgun fight. Trades on both sides almost, and Guild cleans up actually. GD goes down, but they're about to get 30 as well by Falcons ready up.
Now can Guild defend up against Falcons? It looks like they can. Jesco did so well, but the Sheila puts a quick end to that, and Team Falcons get the chance to reset on the low ground. Waltzy covering with the Sheila in the meanwhile, almost gets taken down. Enter Force 36 are looking at them, remembering Enter Force 36 is a duo, while Furia and Aurora fight things out for the high ground. Remember, TSM so close by as well, so if this fight does truly break out in earnest, you know that there's going to be a third party.
Yeah, and this is the scary part for Aurora, because they were there alone, which makes it super good. Now they're in between 2 teams, which makes it super bad, because regardless, they either drop and get thirded by TSM, or they just end up walking out together with 3 teams, in which case they're pinched. What do you do now? They're gonna have to end up fighting at some point, but I don't know if they're actually going to full commit until they really have to, or if they get naded out.
TSM know this as well. Look at the space that Aurora have to play. It's basically nothing that they have to work with. A small box, and that is it. Enter Force 36, staring at Team Falcons on the low ground, are likely going to have to take this fight as well. You don't have any catalysts. You don't really have much safety with just one bubble between them and destruction. Out comes the Sheila, out comes the bubble, and Enter Force 36 have a couple seconds left to survive. But once this bubble goes down, it is not looking good, Graceful. Falcons are starting to move up on it. They know as well as we do. And Enter Force 36 start heading for the high ground. TSM now firing down on Team Falcons from above.
And this is the thing, TSM is actually holding out Falcon. This might be good for Enter Force 36, but it looks like Furia is joining her fray, taking out Enter Force 36. And Aurora is left solo up on high ground. They're gonna be the last team to join their fray and are looking very likely to close this game out as TSM moved up a little bit early, and we'll have to see how Falcons does.
From playing so small to now getting to play so much bigger, Aurora have the high ground, and Furia have given that up for a chance to take down the Falcons. Evac tower gonna go off in the distance. Furia have to be worried about being jumped on, and so they're gonna bubble early through this Gibraltar ultimate. Furia are safe for a few seconds. Aurora know the timer is finishing, but Aurora cannot overextend. TSM have not yet engaged. Should Aurora go now, TSM will come in and clean up the fight. 4 squads left still, and you've got to push that down further as Aurora begin to deny space to TSM. Verhulst fires back with the Sheila.
Yeah, I mean, Aurora went a little bit early in my opinion, but they decided to set up TSM playing on the east side of the rock and Furia on top of the rock, as well as Falcons on the bottom of the rock. Now it comes down to see which side pulls in closer first. I'm expecting Aurora here to win the game if they can. Stay out on the edge. Depends on what TSM does, because they have been hard focusing Aurora. Now, Falcons bubble is about to run out as they have to decide, do we engage or do we not?
Furia are just watching themselves be sandwiched. They got put between Falcons and TSM, had to choose a side, and unfortunately, there's no winning side for it. Impulse even contributing as Furia are going to go down. Jumps in to finish off Falcons, and it's Aurora versus Falcons, with Aurora having the high ground. Kazakh waiting in this bubble fight, choosing to peek through the Newcastle shield. Is going to jump on forward. Impulse losing health to zone. The last tick is in, and TSM managed to survive and outlast Aurora to find a win.
Aurora might have been really good on cleaning up the Furia Falcons fight, but TSM staying patient, and after that, they managed to bubble down, go in for a straight 3v3, place that Newcastle ult, made it so that they couldn't actually triple swing their bubble. They had to split up either by climbing or running around, and TSM just taking that fight like an actual 3v1, 3v1, just divide and conquer, which is what I always say. If you want a 1v3, divide and conquer is the way, but if you get 3v1, there's not much you can do. TSM taking this game really in a good-looking fashion.
Yeah, I mean, they made very smart use of the cooldowns, both theirs and Aurora's, to stall a lot of time. I mean, in that last 3v3, the Ring did a lot of work, mostly because TSM just managed to put enough Gibby bubbles, mobile shields, castle walls, rampart walls in front of them that Aurora didn't get the chance to find a whole lot of damage.
No, I mean, that's the thing, is like, it comes down to which team engages which team from that spot can stay on the edge without needing to join the fray, like into the actual bubble, which Aurora did good. They caught a couple of kills there, as well as top 2 is solid. But TSM decides to, like, this is the one thing that TSM is really good at. They do what I like to call, they show their presence a lot. You are not swinging our side. I will use my entire Sheila into your bubble, or into your Newcastle queue, or into your Newcastle wall, just to show you that, hey, I'm willing to die with you if you decide to push my side. Falcons opted to go for the opposite side into Furia instead, and that just enabled a different ball game for TSM, because now they're on the east side for free solo, and they get to take the fight. And when it came down to that 3v3, that was actually such a good fight from their side.
I really had to feel for Furia there. They do end up collecting a 4th place with 8 points, but they don't make the top 3, as that's TSM, Aurora, and Falcons who made it up. All 3 the big players in the end game, and all 3 having surrounded Furia and decided, well, I don't know which of us is going to win, but you absolutely are not.
Sometimes that's actually how it feels like, because this even happens as well in, you know, lobbies where you think you're safe, but you're never safe. Speaking of safe, however, Aurora, 68 points. That will pretty much guarantee them, you know, top 10.
Yeah.
Same for Enterforce, 36 on 55, TSM on 45. They're about safe. I would say we're only at this stage of the game right now. They can definitely make it. Everybody else, however, still not really there just yet. They might need that one game to pull them through. And then as we look on the other side of the leaderboard, you know, from Cloud9 and downwards, these guys need to start waking up properly, because now you're at the stage where we might not make winner. We might not make finals, sorry.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, as a reminder, you do want to be inside the top 10.
Yes,
in
top
order
10.
to make finals. So right now the cutoff is just at Furia, and you've got 3 games to do it. This was our last game on World's Edge. We do only get 2 maps of that, but now we're going to be moving into 3 of E-District, one of the most fair maps, I would say. No matter where you're landing, you should have a good shot if you're having a good day, if you're all on the same page, and if you are ready to play the best Apex Legends of your life. We do have 3 games left to determine who is going to make it into Sunday. It is getting incredibly close, Graceful, and with just those 3 games left, we are going to give our players and you a short break, and we'll see you in just a few.
And this invisible on the other side of Verls. Imagine if he gets the jump on Verls when he's isolated, in this case, by the rock. And Madness is still invisible. Vax is getting the rep, but he doesn't have a gold knockdown. And Madness could go for the biggest brain play if he could isolate one of TSM.
He is very much there. Oh my goodness!
Vaxlon
Bleeding out now. Vaxlon utilizing the walls.
and Furia right now are the same amount of points as Gaming Gladiators to be first in this lobby. Vax now dancing around the shield. Can he clutch? Madness still stuck in the drone, still waiting. EMP comes in right at the very end. TSM get eliminated, and Furia had gone for second with complexity. They don't even know where Madness is. They gotta finish this game first. And all right.
Alienware, the official PC of the Apex Legends Global Series.
A big thank you to Battle Beaver, the official controller partner of the Apex Legends Global Series. During this time, during the biggest LAN that Apex Legends has ever seen, you can use the code ALGS on their site, which is battlebeaver.gg/ALGS for 20% off during this amazing LAN that we've got going on here in Japan, the championship, and there is no better time to pick up your matching Battle Beaver controller to celebrate the occasion. It's, I mean, of course, really helped out our players on stage, but you've also got the opportunity to win some stuff simply for watching those players play on stage. We've run a couple throughout the week of our Twitch drops, but as today is Saturday, you've got the chance to pick up an exclusive holo spray, which has Horizon, Bangalore, and Pathfinder celebrating, although I don't think that Pathfinder has a mode that is not celebrating.
Yeah, most definitely, because Pathfinder is one of the best characters. I like him, always have. And, you know, getting to get some rewards just by watching as well is always nice, you know. And I like that spray, you are the champion. When you get that dub in rank with your squad, always a great feeling.
How do you use holo sprays? Like, when do you use them?
Oh, 100% just a BM every time.
Yeah?
When you get like triple swung and I 1v3 every single time.
Okay, I like it. I will occasionally use them as like thank yous for my teammates. You know, like if they drop something.
That's because you're so kind.
Well, then, you know, they're sweet. They're little pictures. Yeah.
I guess I'm the toxic one.
No, it's okay. Don't worry. I have the gray Nessie OK equipped as well. so
when you 1v1 someone and then you mop them, you're like, okay, nice try, I guess.
yeah, you can always drop the OK on them. Okay. Now, we are getting ready for the next game as our players have given us some incredible showings here on stage already. But to measure a bit of a different skill, we actually tested how fast a few of them could take on other computer lab related abilities. So let's go ahead and see.
You cool with it? Yeah. I did. Whenever you're ready.
Whenever I'm ready, I'm gonna put it on my neck.
Can begin.
Yeah. Whenever I'm ready, okay. So one crazy thing is I only type with one hand. Into tell hand thing day, then small, set, tell, on, give, old, about. Oh, that, they didn't like that. Person, now.
Oh my god. No.
Down, lead, child, what? See, because then new change, use, increase. Oh, 62? Nah.
Holy. Wait, how bad is that? For 39.
124.
Pinky 4.
If not for shift, control, and tap. 4-1. What does that even mean? It's so hard to type it and read at the same time, actually. Like 49 words per minute.
You weren't the worst.
It could be better.
I mean, you know, I love fun. Everybody says he's the nicest person. He's the cutest person. I knew something was crazy about him. Typing with one hand, that ain't normal fun. He still beat. He still beat him as well. No, I think that's a great, great display of skill as well, because I've never done. I thought we both had.
And Saucerer asked, I think, the most important question: what is a pinky for if it's not for shift, control, and tab? That I think is the real question, because I'm not using my pinky that much, but shift, control, and tab, I think you got everything. I think you got everything you need. I enjoyed watching that. It's nice to see our players compete in a bit of a different way. Now let's take a look at some of the highlights from our last match, our last visit to World's Edge. And for some of these players, as we said, the last time they're going to be playing on World's Edge until we see them on Sunday. It was a difficult round for Fnatic to start off with, even though they grabbed some kills pretty early on Team Liquid, which I'm sure felt nice after having that done to them in the last round.
Yeah, most definitely. They felt good about this, ended up getting thirded. Huge fight here by Falcons. The Crazy Raccoon goes down. A lot of these highlights actually, we might have not seen it on the big screen for the moment, but seeing them now again, you have the time to review a little bit. Why did they die before Alliance mopped them outside the window? Because they might have been safe with this Newcastle ult from Fnatic, but they were not safe from Alliance, ended up getting pinched. And a lot of these fights actually end up that way. You're in a two-way path because everybody's bubble up on you. We even see a wall, not as likely, but these bubbles in Newcastle queues allows teams to take the space that normally they wouldn't have in other metas.
This is found footage of Furia getting completely surrounded and having absolutely nothing to do, playing behind the last Newcastle mobile shield they will ever see. But ultimately, TSM, we praised them for this, did a really good job of mitigating a lot of damage until the point where they were able to do that triple swing coordinated push onto individual members of Aurora. A big part of that fight, and of many fights that we're seeing specifically in the winners bracket, has been Newcastle wall timings as well. The ability to displace other people has been incredible, and a lot of people have very quickly picked up on how useful it is and how important timing on the Newcastle wall is in order to not just use your own, but break theirs. Now, Aurora currently lead our group with 3 matches left to go, 68 points. Like you said, they're seeming kind of a shoo-in for making it to the finals on Sunday. But a little further down, I'd say around that Guild, Shopify, 100 Thieves, Falcons, Furia area, that's where I'd definitely be getting nervous about whether or not you're actually a lock-in for Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, these teams have to wake up now, and I think there's no better map than the map we're stepping into, E-District. Because like we said before, you know, E-District coming up is that it's the most fair map due to the fact that regardless of where the zone really pulls, you will always feel like the game is in your hands. In World's Edge, it can feel a little bit unfair because you get stopped at so many different locations where you just have to fight and almost guaranteed get thirded, and you can't really rotate past teams. E-District, the complete opposite is, if you don't want to fight, you can almost avoid absolutely everybody with just your macro alone, which is amazing.
You've got lots of ways to maneuver around E-District, and one of the things that we've really noticed is that in end games, there's a ridiculous amount of teams alive simply because of the places that you can hold when we get that much further into the game. Now, we did have the draft for this earlier, so let's take a look at where everyone is landing. In this particular case, taking a look, I remember thinking that Green Stego got a bit shortchanged there, Complexity as well, but in large part, I think that almost everyone got areas that they feel very comfortable with. Maybe I'd point out Crazy Raccoon as being a notable exception, simply because they were the one team that had really gone out of their way to prioritize Lotus in the group stage and got denied it by Furia.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing is when, you know, when you're playing in group stage that you might not just get the actual spot that you want. Now that they're in more familiar lobbies and they know each other's macros, sometimes even changing spot doesn't matter that much, especially on this map. And that's why we also saw a lot of the picks opted in for, you know, the earlier stages like World's Edge and also Stormpoint, is that, you know, they might have had less time to actually define their strats, because remember, some of these teams went straight into picking their PYs right after they were done with a series, and that can affect you as well. They're like, hey, you know, we're tired, we just had a tough day, or a good day. If they're a good day, they're feeling good about it. Yeah, of course, we'll pick this. No matter where we are, we're always going to smash everyone. And if you had a worse day, you know, you're going to be like, you know, our plan didn't work, we really want to pick the same POI, and this is also why, one of the reasons why I like to say, hey, we gotta have more than one POI, because, you know, are we willing to con for something, or do we want to change up our strat if it's not working? Because like we said before, in like different stages on the tournament, earlier stages might play out very differently, and later stages might play out exactly how you want it to be, and you gotta be prepared for everything, because if you don't have, I mean, 8 games is quite a lot, but you don't have that many games if you don't get like solid average points on average. Then you start needing these humongous big bomb games, and not everybody can do what Enter Force 36 is, dropping, you know, 20 plus kills. Yeah. It's not what, like, we've only seen 3 huge games really, so it's gonna be rough for some of these teams. They gotta wake up, but I think if any map, it's this map coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I do want to note that our games, of course, have been delayed just a little while, but we are doing our best to make sure that for these most important games of the tournament so far, that our players are going to be set up with their best chance for success as we head into E-District. We wouldn't want any of them to be missing out on anything, so lobby should be starting soon. Just please bear with us, as that soon is going to be a flexible measure based on when our players actually feel like they're set up for success.
Soon. Okay, well, I'm ready. I'm about to press my button soon. We don't really know when, but, you know, I'm also hoping to get back into this, because I think everybody, 2 ways. Some are anxious, some are locked in and ready. And like, I believe also some are locked and loaded, and I'm waiting for it. I just want to see some good Apex, and that's what we've been seeing nonstop. We
got some really cool stats going on as well that we've collected throughout the tournament. A lot of them about Red Evo Shield.
Look at that.
Rain and Johnny being very, very good at picking those up quickly, but as it is, getting to Red is more a matter of speed than anything, since it is achievable for anyone, whether you're playing Zone, whether you're playing Edge. We do actually still see some Zone teams hit that red marker very late, if at all, simply because of how much Evo coming from damage is not really as efficient for them.
Yeah, most definitely. But not only that, Mastiff, so many kills. It's not as crazy as we've seen before with the Mozambiques and, you know, other weapons in other tournaments, but Mastiff nonetheless has been the main pick for close range fighting. Eva coming up close as well, and PK is also there But the biggest thing is Massive still dominates despite the nerf that we had fairly recently. It's, in my opinion, also my favorite shotgun, so I like it a lot, because Eva is just one of the weapons where if you get to slide on somebody, not necessarily where they can like LOS cut with a bubble or something in the open, Eva could, you know, could punish a little bit harder if you're on their forehead and you have the Eva and they don't have a wall to play. But when we're talking about 90% of these fights where there's like 7 layers of either rampart walls, Newcastle Qs, or Gibby bubbles, I think jiggle peeking with either Massive or PK will always take you ahead, because you're not really exposing your body long enough to where Eva can find that full effect unless you get to jump on them, like I said.
And because of the horizontal spread, you've got a lot of forgiveness as well, right? Like if you're literally going side to side, then when you get in there, like not being exactly lined up means that the Mastiff is still likely going to land a little bit of damage as you slide in, whereas like that's not very true for something like the Peacekeeper that doesn't have the same level of horizontal spread and is more just contained in the box, kind of like the Eva.
Yeah, and they also changed it as well, how the bullet spread happens. So yeah, it's definitely the case. If you just, you know, you hit a shoulder, you're barely hitting any pellets at all. But I mean, that's just how it goes. Some shotguns fight differently, and I think that they're slowly hitting their spots to where you're actually feeling a little bit of a different gameplay when you pick up each and every one. Massive and PK probably the most similar ones, but the Mozambique doesn't feel at all like the Massive, and it doesn't feel at all like the Eva either. Yeah. So I think that if we can, you know, further advance these distinguishing between the weapons and them all having their proper individuality and, you know, uniqueness to them, I think that's just the better, because I want, you know, I like having favorite weapons. Flatline is my favorite weapon. No other weapon feels like Flatline, and I love it, and I hope we keep it that way.
Yeah, I mean, a very similar thing to be said in the LMG class, where I think they've done a really good job of differentiating the feel of the different LMGs. I am, obviously, as a Rampart fanatic myself, a
LMG main.
LMG player, exactly. This is going to be taking a little while longer than we anticipated, and so we're going to jump to a very quick break, but we'll be back in just a few moments as we prepare game number 6. No, 5. We'll be back. 6 or 6. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you remember that it is, in fact, Game 6 that we're setting up in the meanwhile. I certainly wouldn't have misremembered the game number. However, as we are still preparing that in the background, I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about some of the team performances this time around, Graceful, because we've talked quite a bit about those teams that are at the top: Aurora, Enterforce 36, TSM, Liquid Alienware, just to name the first. But I want to look a little further down the leaderboard while we have time and talk about those teams that may already be thinking, what are we going to do if and when this hits the second round of elimination? I'm thinking specifically of Green Stego, Virtus Pro, Fnatic, and Go Next. Weird that I'm saying Fnatic there.
Yeah, I mean, we are definitely hitting that timeline now where it's a possibility to not see Fnatic in the upper bracket or in finals straight away, so to say, and they might have to fight for their tournament life down in lower bracket number 2. These other teams, however, have had a little bit of inconsistency, might I say, but now's the time. There is still 3 games with this left, so they have an opportunity to come back, but unless they can get some above average points, like at bare minimum 10 points on average per for 2 out of the 3 maps, and then a big game out of 1 of them, it's looking a little bit rough for sure.
Yeah, I'm actually looking specifically towards Noctum and Crazy Raccoon during these next 3 games, because E-District has historically been really successful for them until today, throughout the group stage. Crazy Raccoon was averaging 9.2 points per game on E-District, and Noctum 11.8.
Yep. Solid averages, but you know what I like about averages? I would rather see them in action, as I hope we're about to start up our game pretty soon, as I'm getting a little bit of excitement as we're about hopping in. Yes, the average points of teams is also, you know, I like to call a lot of about info, and the data could better be... I feel like a lot of people look at raw stats and data as something factual, which it is facts, but you gotta look at it from a little bit of a broader perspective, because raw damage doesn't mean anything a lot of the times. If you have 6,000 damage, but that one game ended in barometer and I had a charge rifle with 200 bullets, you know, it's very common. But other stats, however, that I would rather look at is, you know, how much damage do you actually do in a team fight in a bubble, rather than just overall, you know. So it's important to take all of these stats with a pinch of salt, might I say.
Especially because they shift so often based on where the ring is going, where you're dropping, and in this case, this is where everyone is going to be dropping for E-District. I just want to remind everybody, as we prepare these games, that it's likely that your favorite team, whoever they may be, is dropping from a very different spot than they were in the group stage. As we performed this POI draft only 2 days ago, and everybody had a barrage of shifting priorities. I'd say we saw a lot more priority on E-District than we did pre-tournament. Now that this has gotten underway, I think that while the map is far from solved, we are still getting to the point where teams and players are understanding, well, we aren't just going to leave this for last. Not just anything is good. We want the best chance of success. And it looks like you did indeed get your wish, Graceful. The game has begun. E-District is where we're going, and it is for the last 3 games of the winner's bracket. Who will be finishing in the top 10? Who will be stamping their ticket to go on to Sunday?
Yeah, who indeed? I'm so looking forward to this game, because now is where we will see momentum shift. Some of these teams have been struggling on other parts of the map, especially the lower bottom 10 of the 20th. Now we have actually, you know, the opportunity to show up, because now we've seen some teams actually only excel on this map specifically rather than the other 2 maps, and I'm hoping we get to see something more alongside of that.
Old Town, home of TSM right now, furthest south on the map, are going to be very close neighbors with Go Next, and having rolled a ring console pretty early on, TSM should get an idea of where this zone is going. You and I know, Graceful, that we're going to be going a little further up north than TSM Alliance Go Next, and instead moving up into that Virtus Pro area, even so far as to encompass a little bit of Resort, where Shopify Rebellion ended up dropping.
Yeah, and now the only thing I'm wondering is, will we, you know, even from this lobby and also leading into the next rounds, will we see the same trend on this map where more people are playing center zone, specifically tied to this map, probably because there's more, you know, available spots to play, or will we keep seeing the fashion that we have seen previously now, where people are kind of opting away from early rotating and just playing mid-speed? It remains to be seen. It's going to be fun. Fight here, though, between Go Next and TSM is looking spicy.
It is. I mean, Go Next have been ruthless over the last couple of games. They know as well as anyone that picking up kills in this round is going to be a big game changer. But TSM set up a defensive perimeter very quickly. They've gotten Verhulst back into the fight, and Go Next are now sat on the low ground with mostly white armors. Yarka, the one exception, having gotten enough Evo from taking down Verhulst earlier. But even then, Go Next need to find a way to actually besiege TSM in a meaningful way, because right now they have very limited access to the high ground of the TSM hold.
Yeah, fighting double wide into triple blue is going to be rough, but it depends on how well they are at splitting. With this bubble, let's see if they triple swing something or if they're going to end up double swinging. Huge Newcastle ult comes out and they get it split. One of them swinging one by one by TSM, and that's going to be hard.
Zap swinging with Verholst.
Yeah.
Go Next responding, and Reps is going to go down immediately.
Yeah.
Uchako with the Mastiff will help take down Verholst as well, and TSM overstep in a big way to be the first team taken down on E-District.
And that's exactly what I was referring to, Dia. Did you see that stair swing? That was one by one. You have to be triple swinging something if you want to make sure to close out the game fast, because when you swing one by one, that's 3 people looking at you turn that corner and you got shot at, and one of them immediately exploded, and then we saw the triple push through stairs, next one got exploded, and then at that point, there's not really much that you can do.
I'm going to take not the opposite end of that perspective, but maybe a different one, an adjacent one. I don't think you needed to swing that at all. Going down the stairs was a really rough move and an over-aggressive one by TSM. Yes, I understand the aggression, wanting to shake Go Next off your back, because maybe Go Next don't do it themselves, but a little bit of hubris certainly bites them, and now Go Next get everything in the south and the 3 kill points that they were looking for in the first place. EXO sieging up against Shopify Rebellion, who again were sat outside of Resort and will be for the foreseeable future. FC9 looking at them as well, so Shopify Rebellion are running out of safe space to play.
Yeah, we're also getting to this point of the game where like a lot of the teams have already made their way into center zone, so this fight has to happen fast if they want it to happen. Alliance as well looking against E36 in the same building, looking to push. Will we see the same type of gameplay that we just saw now between TSM as well?
Double whiff by Hackis, unfortunately just not connecting right now. It's been really rough. Alliance have lost a lot of HP, but fortunately have not lost a member during this time. E36 are finally going to claim the first knock on Hackis. And I would not be messing with Enterforce 36 after this. Alliance really struggled to find an ingress into this fight. And now that you've lost one, you're not going to find it at this point.
But when even though you've lost one, you have to remember it's Effect and Unlucky outside. They're trying their best. I believe Unlucky ran away, as they will be chasing him indeed, because they are running Valkyrie like not many other teams are. They can easily catch up to Unlucky most likely, and they did spot him out, spam picking him right now, and they say, hey, he is hiding over here, we're gonna clean him up. However, even though this fight, we know how this will end, I'm very sad with how it started, Dia. Why did Hackis get split up? He got split up, you know, in that zipline fight, essentially, because they're just bouncing on the zipline.
Oh, yeah.
And that's just the roughest part, is when you get split, you get punished.
Follow-up slam, deadly, and yeah, nice cleanup, nice cleanup. E36, they knew what they were about.
Yeah, I mean, indeed, they were playing very synergized, all of them triple bouncing on that. And that's also kind of hard as well, because, you know, as 2 roller players, they can't do the same thing that Hackis and Synap can do, essentially. But I mean, you could bounce still, but that synergy they had there, going floor to floor together, triple swinging, cleaning and saying, hey, triple heal before we walk up together, is what, you know, makes or break these fights. You got to triple swing, man.
It was a very nice finish. I'm glad we get to see the Newcastle ults used so aggressively. The animation is so satisfying.
It looks so cinematic.
Yeah. That probably one of my favorite parts of the Newcastle design is getting to use the ultimate and watch it be used. Now, Fnatic, a team that very much needs to perform in these last 3 games, currently sitting in 18th overall, have a great spot from which to do so, Graceful.
Yeah, really good spot. You know, they have the knowledge and they know they're in a solid spot. The question remains is, can they hold this spot? Because now they're on triple blue. It looked like they're all missing, you know, sights right now. Will be a little bit harder to poke people away from you when you're missing, you know, a 3x or a 2-4. But they're sitting very comfortably, hoping that other teams perhaps start a fight and then they can 3-peat. Because on this map, honestly, you have pretty solid sight lines specifically from this spot, so that's good.
We'll get to take a look at some of the teams that are on the cusp of making their way into qualification for winners. Noctem, hoping for their shot at doing much the same. We're going to drop on 100 Thieves, and Timmy is going to fall. This will be a quick finish for Noctem, and I don't see 100 Thieves around to respond, but it's worth noting that with TSM and Alliance eliminated, we have our 3rd place team and our 5th place team having gone down. With 3 games left to go, I'm not saying that they're in danger of being knocked out, but you want to avoid having more games like this one, where 0 points can very quickly become you dropping many placements.
Yeah, and we can also see here on the map that there's actually about 6-7 teams outside of the zone right now. Seems like they want to be playing a little bit more of edge because maybe they like just how this zone specifically plays out. But like you said, top 5 eliminated, top 3 eliminated. What this means, Dia, is even more excitement to me. Unless the teams above them soak up more points, that means there will be more points across the board spread into the lobby, so that, you know, it'll be more exciting because that means the average in the lobby also goes up. Will we see as high as yesterday? Probably not, because it ends up being normally more top-heavy, but I am looking forward to it nonetheless. I'm hoping for teams on the bottom 10 to pick up some more points this game because they definitely need it.
A team like Aurora could just rocket ahead of the lobby, but not if they're being shut down like that. Go next. Isolating and destroying. I mean, you've mentioned to me in the past that Go Next are a contentious team in EMEA because they can get so aggressive, because they will go for these unorthodox and honestly very inconvenient plays for other teams. But you can't deny that when points mean everything, when we are in high-stakes situations like this, their strategies are very effective.
Yeah, and that's the thing about them. Uxako and Hyarka as a duo, really, right? We've seen them across, you know, almost the entire timeline of Apex, I would like to say, from EMEA's perspective. They always have the same confidence, and that's something that a lot of teams lack. Because, like, when something works or doesn't work, I feel like they never get, what's the word again? Discouraged. They don't really get discouraged because they know we practice this. If it works, you know, we've been doing a good practice, and if it doesn't work, well, then we just got to get at it again. Whereas most people might even get discouraged. And speaking of discouraged, 100 Thieves almost over peaking, getting insta-kill, but the bubble from Team Falcons comes forward with this rat. We heard about the rat play. Now Falcons says it's my turn as they train in his fight, and it goes 2 for 2. Falcons versus 100 Thieves comes down to a 1v1, but the Newcastle is on one team. It's going to be really hard for 100 Thieves to close this out as he gets the res. And 100 Thieves probably looking to disengage here to make sure they can reset. Falcons, however, instead of getting ratted on somebody else.
Yeah, I appreciate that Timmy went for it once he heard the res, but not much you can do there. Falcons are playing the kills, and Gaming Gladiators struggling to stay alive themselves up against Noctem are going to be chewed through. Gaming Gladiators do go down, and it's Noctem that pick up the kills. So we are starting to drop squads, or at least most of them in the case of 100 Thieves.
Noctem was one of the teams we talked about backstage as well, Dia, where, like, can they keep up the performance they've had previously? Because we said, hey, on E-District, they were kind of popping off. Can they do it again? We saw them a little bit, you know, across this lobby in the earlier matches. They haven't really had that success. But with what we just saw, them taking them out, is that we're seeing that form from yesterday. Is it maybe they're just a magical god E-District team? I don't know, but this is a good start to snowball into later. Hopefully they can keep this momentum up and maybe close out the game again like they did yesterday's fashion.
I mean, genuinely? Maybe. Like, Noctem have been really exceptional performers, but it's like a high highs, low lows kind of thing. If they've solved E-District, if that's the juice that's going to get them through this tournament, it may very well be enough. E-District has been a really important map, and many teams are slower on being able to pick up exactly how they want to approach this. In fact, Falcons have just come up with a new strategy. The rat play was really fun to watch, but I want to see what they're thinking of doing next as they approach E-District. So let's jump into a listen-in with Falcons.
Hey, shoot him. Take a peek.
Well, no, he's hanging at us.
Nice. I get the shoot, so.
Are they staying there?
Yeah, they're gonna hold us.
Yeah, okay.
I think it's split. I think split.
Yeah.
Okay, back bit. I'll play cross.
I can nade him. I bet naded him. I'm walking forward. I'm also sliding forward.
Wait to get left side. I'm sliding.
I sky naded.
He's Havoc.
100 on the right part. Give me right 200. Give me 200.
Stay back. Looking back. Looks good.
Hit 2 for 100. They're getting
Running in the hut.
They're running outside. They're outside. They're in the corner.
They're all inside now.
Get some shit in the hut. Go down on side.
Okay. I thought they run inside the room. Don't evac behind us. Evac behind us. We let them go.
Hey, AFK on the corner.
They're in the hut behind
In the
me
hut.
now. Yeah.
They evac
Flying
behind
over.
us. They're going City Hall.
Yeah, these guys just
My
randomly
Ubi. I
swinging.
did my Ubi. They had my Ubi, I think.
No, they're not. They're not.
Okay.
They landed quite close though.
Fucking Lotus on the right side.
We need to carry it back, yo.
Yeah, fucking see in the hut soon.
They're swinging.
Swinging. Bombing.
Keep it on. Keep it cracked.
Grab on 60.
There's loads
They use
of
everything. They use everything. Chilling. Killing.
Cracked him 101.
We want to be. No, one. Killing.
I'm batting against Scott.
Batting corner. Q.
They're coming.
They should chill. Baited in. Marshall. Marsh.
I'm on.
Marsh one.
Dead nades.
Holy fuck.
How do we stop that?
We need
Possible?
to.
And that was, you know, impressive 3v3 from Falcons going in to knock them, the team we were just talking about, but Aurora was the team who was using the evac. Landed close because they saw, hey, you know, these guys are poking us, they might be fighting soon. Came in for the 3P, and they were stuck in the corner, got nade spammed, and then lost the fight. However, good comms and bubble fight before that. Aurora, however, takes that up, cleans that up.
Yeah, very well done, and it's suffering when you get trapped in the elevator. I've been trapped in the elevator, you've been trapped in the elevator. It's tough, it's especially when the enemy team has nades. Now, what's really difficult to watch is Virtus Pro be eliminated right now because they, 19th going into this game, had an amazing spot, center zone, where Go Next just managed to take over from them. So, really difficult game for Virtus Pro to lose out on points from, but now it's Go Next's opportunity, who have been making a lot of noise throughout this game. This could be Go Next starting to take that move and turn it into a winner's bracket appearance. They've just got to keep this going. Sitting at 14th place right now, Go Next, this could be their game.
Yeah, and this is the thing with zone pulled towards the water in the bridge, under the bridge, is something that a lot of teams don't really opt for. They tend to opt for buildings, so